Hey everybody. Hope you're having a great weekend. Uh, so I've had an issue where I'm trying to get TSM to do what I want it to do. The issue is, let's say I have for example, potion of Phantom Fire. When the profit is over 100 gold, then I want to craft the daily uh, average sold. So that would be about 174 um, in this case. Uh, but let's say the the profit margin drops below 100. So maybe instead of making the daily average sold, then I maybe only make half of it or 3/4 of it. So that maybe, hey, if something is happening with that market where that market is going down, I'm not making as much of those. So if it happens to go negative, like this potion of deadly fixation, that I don't have like, you know, a whole bunch of it crafted, and just sitting in my bags, taking up space and stuff like that. So what I've done is you come to settings, and I've created this potential profit uh, custom string. So, but first, what you have to do is so basically it's the default crafting value method. So I've actually redone this. So the default crafting value method is basically taking the string that you have in under crafting, this default craft value method, and plugging that into a custom source called dcvm. So you could call it whatever you want to. Um, I just picked that. So what that's going to do, the other thing what you want to do is go to tooltips and enable those two, dcvm and potential profit. So ideally what you do is you come over to your item here, you hover over it, and you can see that the dcvm here is 185, which actually works out to be the dbminbuyout currently, what TSM just pulled from the database. Um, and the potential profit is 33 gold and 7 silver, which matches up down below with the crafting cost and profit that TSM is also calculating. So we're getting those the variables are showing what we should expect. Now what I've done is I've just created a temporary group just to kind of test this out. So the idea is, if so let's test this out. So with a potion of spectral stamina, so right now it's showing a 33 gold profit. So if I plug these values in, so if the let's just do 30. We can leave the rest the same. So if the profit is above 30, then what this should do is it should maybe pop up for me to craft, somewhere around 40. I think when I tried it earlier, it was about 44. Yeah, 44. So that's basically, so I'm using like this other variable called xpostcap, which is basically the number sold per day divided by 4, maybe plus 1 kind of thing. So that works out. Let me turn off guild chat here. I don't like people seeing what's going on in our guild. Just from a privacy point of view. Anyway, so okay, so if the potential profit is above 30, then I want to craft the daily average sold. So let's delete that. So now since we know it's 33, so let's do this one to 100, which is what I'm going to eventually start with. So if the potential profit is now above, we'll move 30 here, then we should get just 3 times 11, I guess. So let's try that. So that's giving us the right value. So now I'm going to move this, increase this 75, and probably doesn't matter here. Potential profit, we can just add 30 there just to test this out. Clear that. Restock 22. That's giving me the right or a value that I'm expecting, and then we'll eventually move that to 50, and then we don't really, the 25 here, I'll go into detail on that. Okay, so 11. And then finally, so where's the 25 here? Well, that's where this minimum profit here comes into play. So I would have to actually have 25 here. So the item that you're looking at would have to actually be above the 25 gold, or whatever your string here. It would have to be above that in order to use just the xpostcap value. So I'm just still giving 11, which should be correct. I don't really make that flask anyway, but so now, okay, so you've got it crafting the right amount using this string, and I'll post this in the description in the video just so you can kind of see how it all is working out. And this is, so really, if you want to add more choices to it, it's pretty simple. You just kind of come to the end here, copy, I think this, and you just kind of add it into the end and make some adjustments to basically you're replacing this what's there. So anyway, it's pretty simple. You add another parenthesis on the end, and you know, as long as the TSM likes it, you know, you could probably build this out really far, but maybe 4 choices should be plenty. There's probably not going to be a lot of cases where this is going to be something you use on everything. So okay, so now the issue is, it's like, okay, well, what happens with your okay, so I only made 11, but my normal posting is I'm posting 20 of them. Well, what you do there is you create another posting operation that posts based on the number of inventory. Now let me go over here. So what I typically do is, maybe I'll log in the morning, collect the mail, post whatever I have in my bags or whatever, and then craft everything else that needs to be crafted, or not necessarily in that order, but a lot of times you have to pull the stuff out of your mailbox, especially if it's full. You have to check your mail and check your auctions, so TSM gets an updated inventory of items. And if you have more stuff in your, if you have more than like 100 items in your mailbox, you don't want to restock, hit the restock button yet. Anyway, So here, what I'm doing is really actually very simple. I'm just saying, hey, the number of inventory divided by 4. So what I was getting at was, since I post like in the morning and the evening, then I want to go ahead and just post a quarter of my inventory, and I'm doing 48-hour auctions. So if you do like 24-hour auctions, then maybe, and you post in the morning and the evening, maybe you want this to be divided by 2, or just depending on the frequency that you post and your auction duration, you might want to adjust this however you like. So that's going to be the other side of the variable part of this. So the idea, the grand idea here is that, hey, as the profit margin comes down, then you're going to craft less of these items, and you're going to be posting less of them. So maybe demand is falling down. Maybe it's like in the middle of the week, or right after reset, maybe the demand is really high, somebody's reset the market, you want to make a lot more of them, and then as the week kind of goes along, and hopefully you've sold some of these items, you start making, and maybe the profit margin comes down, you will be making less of them during the week. So this is just something I've been thinking about, because like I make a bunch of the spiritual healing or the spectral healing potions, and the profit margin is just not really high on those at all. So it's like I'm thinking, it's like, hey, maybe I want to just make 100 of them, instead of making like daily, 696. I don't want to be making 700 of these potions and then have them, they only stack to 20, so they're going to be sitting in your bags and taking up lots of space, and then the profit margin is so low on some of these that it's just not really worth it for those. So those are my thoughts. Anyway, if you have any questions on what I did in this video, then please ask them in the comments. One thing I probably ought to mention is like xpostcap. It's like, well, what exactly is that? So if you look at this, it's basically, so I just say, hey, the minimum amount is 400. So whatever, this is 696. So the minimum of the sold per day is I'm going to take 400. So if there's like 1,600, 2,000 sold per day, this should return like 400. Anything under like 1,600, it'll come up with like a 1/4 of that number sold per day. So db region sold per day divided by 4 plus 1, and I'm also taking the max of that just in case this value is nil, or it's just not, there's no data for it for some reason. So I think that's it. Anyway, I'm going to be giving this a try on some of the potions and other things like that, just to get a feel if it's working or not. This is probably something you might want to test out if you have like a specific potion that you've been crafting. I'll probably also do it with the maybe the spectral flask of power, just to see how that works out. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and take care.